This review is originally going to revolve around Xenoblade Chronicles X, but given that it's been about 2 weeks and I'm still not out of the first area, I don't think it's time for that review yet. The planet Mira makes Fallout 4's Commonwealth seem like a cozy little kiddie park in terms of scale, so maybe next year. Don't worry, it's still in my top 10 of the year for sure. In the meantime... Oh yeah, baby, it's finally here. I don't care if it's not a video game, it's friggin' Star Wars. If you know me and my channel, you know that's a good enough excuse. After all 3 prequels spectacularly flubbed their landings, the concept of an Episode 7 seemed like a pipe dream. Even when Disney acquired Lucasfilm and announced they were looking into an Episode 7 in the first place, I was really skeptical that it could even be done by 2015. And yet, here we are, and as it turns out, it's pretty great. Forget everything that made the prequels garbage. This movie is a bona fide, real, and authentic Star Wars movie. And it is very, very good. Not perfect, but hey, no movie's perfect. It's simple, it's a lot of fun, and it has just enough fan service to avoid feeling overbearing with it like, some recent movies have. It's at this point that I'm going to delve into some minor-ish spoilers. I'm not spoiling any of the really big twists, but if you want to go in completely blind, which I guess is a semi-good idea, maybe, then pause the video, go see the movie right now because it's quite good, and then come back. Alright, it's been 30 years after the Empire's catastrophic defeat at Endor's Forest Moon, and their subsequent defeat in a needless and poorly designed DLC map. A revenant of the Empire known as the First Order has formed, and they continue to haunt the Republic and Leia's newly christened Resistance. Luke Skywalker has gone missing, and an adorable droid holds the secret to finding him. It's up to Leia, Han Solo, and a new generation of characters to find him before the First Order gets to him first. One thing that's immediately noticeable is the film's resemblance to the very first film. A New Hope, not Phantom Menace. Why'd Lucas have to do that? Anyway, Episode 7 follows Episode 4's structure to an uncanny degree. While the new characters are definitely their own characters, they do follow the archetypes that Episode 4 established. There's the young desert dweller who yearns to see her own family again, the smarmy pilot who rightfully brags about his skills, the wise old mentor, an enigmatic Black Knight right out of Arthurian legend, and Princess Leia, I guess. There's even a neat Boba Fett analog who is somehow really cool despite getting, 5 minutes of total screen time? If you couldn't tell from that, or the important information stored on a cute droid plotline, this film follows A New Hope really, really closely, to the point of almost feeling like straight-up theft rather than homage. Of course, I'd rather it steal from a good film rather than try and focus on taxation on trade routes or...
I don't like sand.
Ugh. But I've talked a lot about homage lately, and I actually think Episode 7 is another good example. Like Undertale or Read-Only Memories, it uses that existing structure and adapts it for an audience that might not be as patient. For as much as the crew has bragged about using practical effects, the biggest fight scenes are still done partly with CGI. That's both a blessing and a curse. If you look at the effects from the old movies, it's mind-blowing when you see the Falcon weave between asteroids and you believe that it's really there because it kind of is. Not only does it look real, but it's much easier to appreciate the insane work that went into making those effects. I mean, this is 1983! This looks too good for 1983. Now, most of that is done with CG, which allows for more insane maneuvers. There's a scene where our cocksure pilot takes out like 6 TIE fighters in a single cinematic shot, and it looks super impressive, even if the effect itself isn't as impressive. That's just using new technology to do something that used to be cool, even cooler. However, you'd be surprised at how much Episode 7 harkens back to the choreography of the old films. Yeah, the lightsaber fight at the end of The Phantom Menace was pretty cool, but there was no emotion or depth to it. In the original films, the characters wielded their swords like they were actually damn swords. Swords are heavy, they have weight. You could tell by the way that Luke and Vader act that every one of their swings is deliberate. Episode 7's climactic lightsaber duel, it's in the trailer, it's not a spoiler, feels the same. When the two adversaries swing their sabers, they swing them with that same kind of deliberation. You can tell a lot about how our combatants feel by the way they fight, and that's especially true here. I don't have any footage of it, but trust me when I say that the fighting looks a lot less like this, and a lot more like this. That, and the characters are just so much fun. There aren't any whiners or annoying racial stereotypes here. Every member of this cast makes every scene they're in more enjoyable. When Kylo Ren gets mad at something, his sheer ferocity makes Anakin's turn to the dark side look like a teenage hissy fit. Which, I guess it kinda was, technically. When Han Solo cracks a one-liner and one of our new leads cracks one back, it feels like they actually have enjoyable chemistry. I really, really want to see what happens to them in the end. Now, as I said, it's not perfect. Episode 7 feels really uncomfortably close to Episode 4's story structure. It's really hard not to groan when it's ultimately revealed what the First Order has up its sleeve, or when Jar Jar but I really like this new batch of characters, and more so than ever, I want to see what happens next. Think about it. This is the first time in over 3 decades when, for once, we don't know how a Star Wars movie is eventually going to play out. Hell, I'm only 22. This is the only time in my life when I've ever not known how a Star Wars movie is going to play out, and that makes me crave Episode 8 that much more. If you're worried about it being another flop, don't. And even if the next 2 movies turn out terribly, we'll at least be able to look fondly back at this one and remember that we had a hell of a good time. As for right now, though, I definitely don't have a bad feeling about this.